Good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, featuring today a wondrous 1 versus 1 on les fields of Angoville. We shall be watching MWInyoface in the north, actually not in the south, fighting for the Americans, fighting for the 3rd Infantry Division, taking up against the fight against the Huns. Bit of repetition there, but Trix25 fighting for the Wehrmacht, fighting for the 2nd Panzer Division, working on that Wehrmacht quarters, dual pioneers right here at the edge of the base, starting on South Angoville. Of course, does provide some pressure on the Wehrmacht player. What side should he go for? What should he focus on? Of course, how should he try and sort of counter Americans sneaking about the hedgerows? But he's clearly focusing on the east. He might even, guess tank trap right there. In fact, a tank trap right there can in fact ensure infantry can't move through there because, well, I'm not entirely sure. Perhaps they're superstitious. You can't walk between a tank trap stuck between a hedgerow and a house. It's bad luck. Like breaking 20 mirrors or something. Who knows? But while they're of course and thus ensure your cutoff point here is initially protected somewhat nicely. And we're in fact seeing 3 engineers start out there for InyoFace, securing a lot of territory initially, in fact focusing heavily on the west, interesting enough. Not the right hand side, we are seeing some Volksgrenadiers moving up there. Of course, there's the slight disadvantage of the 3 engineers start. You will be a bit slow in getting out your infantry. And in this case, Trix25 might be able to pull something off, then again he might also squander it. So of course see how this works out. And MWInyoface is also known as Dutch X. Pretty solid player, although not everyone's cup of tea from what I hear. Engineers moving up, bike moving up, and they spot each other. Who shall win this? The bike or the engineers? Engineers no negative cover. The bike though getting pushed away and having a bit of trouble dealing with it, of course, because it can't reverse. This is the BMW bike, which couldn't reverse, but nonetheless, it's forced to actually pull away a much farther distance. And there we go, first rifle squad out, and second one following up. Engineers getting shot a bit there. Volkswagen is being used to secure the point, and the pioneers are just hiding in the house, searching it for any valuable intelligence, or more likely just beer and wine and pretzels. Rifle now advancing in from the north of Volksgrenadiers, having secured the fuel point, are immediately ready to counter the American assault. The bike rushing in to assist, and the pioneer squad moving in, possibly catching the Americans right there in the vice. And there we go, InyoFace swiftly retreating, realizing he can't win this, and thus getting out of there, although losing 1 man on return. Left in the corn, no one will come pick him up, since there are no medics for the Americans. He seems to regret that a bit. Second squad of German infantry out, the Volksgrenadiere. Rather than heading eastwards to join with some engineers, bike doing a bit of patrolling, perhaps hoping to catch some engineers on their own and do terrible things to them. And we're seeing demo charges going up for InyoFace. This is interesting, and of course it's actually quite functional on this map, considering again perhaps for those again new, the base in the south is actually perhaps not the best guarded one. There's for example a huge gap right here between the 2 MGs, and of course also no buildings blocks MGs, so in fact he could just knock out this Wehrmacht quarters if he so desired. But even then, you could flame up here and move in through there, and there's a lot of, ways into this base in the south. And it's even more, expressed with the Wehrmacht, which again will have this sort of shortest arcs of fire on their MGs, whereas the American MGs could much easier cover that, although not quite fully. Wehrmacht, no chance whatsoever. Engineers, cool, we could be seeing an engineer squad going down there for InyoFace in the beginning. There we go. The Volkswagen score that victory, bike rolling in. And there we go, engineers have snuck in, laying down the demo charge on the Wehrmacht quarters. And he's only in fact got a few units out from the Wehrmacht quarters. He's got 2 Volkswagens and a bike. And in fact, InyoFace could just move in and continue. Again, nothing to stop him from going in there and just laying down a demo charge right here at the entrance, for example. Or on one of the bunkers and knocking those out. There's a lot of opportunities right there, but he seems not quite to relish it and instead moves on to secure some other parts, which I do think is a bit of a shame. Replacement Wehrmacht quarters going up for Trix. Immediately, of course, he has barely any units on the field. Of course, that is necessary. And will certainly delay him and, of course, give InyoFace a chance to sort of really take command of things. Of course, the question is, will he? And again, I do think it's a bit of a shame that he did not continue into the Wehrmacht base and continue demo charging it up. Also, it looks like some engineers are getting flamethrowers. Oh, there we go. Lovely. In the meanwhile, the Wehrmacht, the troops of the 2nd Panzer Division, are quickly moving about, realizing that someone lets a door open and lets the Yankees in, exploiting their base. How rude. Sneaking up there, good usage of the buildings for cover, of course, allowing, and there we go, a nice large flank. Although we do see some mines here, that's good. That could in fact make it rather difficult for In-Your-Face and the 3rd Infantry to really get off the best. But the Wehrmacht is on the retreat. The bike could be going down, and there we go, mine, and oh, 4-man down, squad pinned. Heavy losses right there for only 25 munitions. What a deal. The Wehrmacht continues to retreat. Volksgunners perhaps laying up a defensive position. MG42 ready from the Wehrmacht quarters. Volksgunners on retreat. Could even see a Pioneer squad going down perhaps. Bike not in a good condition. It can't break through there. It's too big. No. And someone's stuck in the front wheel. Oh no. That was probably Larry. Being behind only a Pioneer squad. Will they finish off? No, the Pioneers pop out. And the house is slightly on fire as well. Question is, of course, will In-Your-Face immediately begin mining down or something like that? No. Pioneers pop in again, and we are seeing the MG42 move out here. This could quickly ruin the surprise here for In-Your-Face, or at least the fun for him. At the same time, minor engagement here going on between Pioneers and Engineers. Pioneers and Engineers in some ways having the same roles in the actual war, but Pioneers were actually more assault troops and were sort of considered a bit of a divisional elite, whereas Engineers were sort of, well, Engineers. Not quite the same. And we're usually more sort of like a reserve infantry unit, like, oh dear, something's gone wrong, we need some engineers in to sort of do the easier work. That is, in terms of fighting. Which didn't always work out for them. Though it certainly was one of the rarer occasions, I think. Ravenir coming under fire, getting pushed back. Nice counterattack now with the German flamethrower, the Flammenwerfer. I believe it's a Svan 40 version it is. Going for the fuel there, nice harassment by the Wehrmacht, by the 2nd Panzer Division, 2nd MG42 up. Interesting, he's going for the Browning automatic. I would have figured, I mean, considering the sort of advantage he got there, which of course would cost Mr. Trix something in terms of resources, in fact, to just recover, I mean, and certainly also delay, he might have actually gone straight for a motor pool to sort of push the advantage there, but sadly, it seems to be not the case, which I think is a bit of a shame. Trix mining there, that's good. MG sitting up to cover there, another to cover there. And going for the cutoff point, very aggressive. Of course, he feels he's only lost a bit. And of course, he goes to the choke point to sort of then buy him some time, of course, by draining off American resources. Definitely a good maneuver. Although at the same time, Trix is leaving his right-hand side pretty open to an American assault, but that does not happen. Instead, we are seeing what's going on here. Rifleman squad stopped. The roar of the MG42 quickly suppresses them, might even soon kill someone. Flamethrowers moving up, barbed wire going up. Excellent, excellent by Trix right there. Engineers moving in. MG stops them, and the mine kills one. Definitely not looking too strong right there for Trix. I mean, for In-Your-Face, oh, it's a bit hard to say. There we go, though, there we go, actually flanking about, hitting the MG42 in the rear, but another one, the first one, sets about to cover the first one, and the engineers get stopped, and this one actually gets pushed off, but this one keeps on doing it. The riflemen here are close to death. In-Your-Face, get them out of there. They're not wearing flame retardant uniforms. And there we go. A pretty costly assault overall for In-Your-Face. He lost a lot of good men, but at the same time, of course, he's also continuing his work there to deny fuel to the Wehrmacht, to those bastards. And we are seeing the Kriegbergs up. We are seeing a half-track out. That's good. We are seeing some Volksgunners equipped with the MP40s. Maschinenpistolen 40.
Losing ground out there.
Hurrah. Going in after the rifle, although it could be a bit of a dangerous venture. Although, due to the hedgerows, they are able to get closer much faster on. Quickly getting into light cover, that's good. This could in fact win the fight, though, except the bushes are getting blasted. And there we go, suppressor fire. Nice handling by In-Your-Face and the Americans. Half-track rolling up. Guns are manned. Volksgunners supporting it. This is good. This is some nice Panzer Grenadier-like tactics. And there we go, Ruffner getting suppressed by the half-track MG. And there we go, pin, but suppressor fire also manages to pin the Volksgunners out in the open. Bit of a double pin, I suppose. Engineers pushing in, desperate to regain this, of course, and most of his resources, but sadly the Germans are dug in pretty tight. And lots of machine guns, partly from the half-track, of course, make it a bit of a difficult venture to move in. But InYoFace does not give up, instead of, perhaps pushing here, and we are seeing an MG42 moving in. Rather than moving up, MGs again moving about. No sticky bombs, and the MG42, oh dear. These Riflemen just need to retreat. A bit too late there, I think I could have avoided some losses. Still no fuel points in their hands, and there we go, MPG-40 supporting the MP-40 troop. Riflemen securing the munitions over there. And a bunker going down, not unusual to see this on Angoville, going for the cutoff point, and then of course particularly the Germans like to sort of plop down an MG bunker to of course then ensure the Americans can't get to it right away. More mines there, lovely mining on the roads. Holding on certainly quite well. Has he actually sandwiched that bike? No, he hasn't, although the bike is actually a bit difficult to sandwich at times. You have to sort of fudge around trying to sort of find the right pixel where it actually wants to sort of order the salvage. There we go, bunker up, but not enough munitions for it yet, and the Grenadier squad out. It's the first squad of Grenadiers, and again, perhaps an armoured car might have provided a bit more assistance initially for InYoFace. Supply it is up. Driving here, getting stopped by the MG42 right there. Getting stopped here by the half-track and another MG42 and some Volksgunners supporting force able to reinforce from the half-track. That's a great way of, using it, to ensure you don't have to retreat all the way back, thus giving you more time on the field and to advance. Flamethrower assault pushing in there. Ooh, getting run off. The MP40 is a bit too much, and Grenadiers arriving as well. Second Panzer Division pushes forward. Volksgunners catches on fire. A few of them, in fact. But having a bit of difficulty pushing on further because, again, the MG42. And looks like someone's trying to get the rest to move, and there we go. Question becomes, how will InYoFace try to overcome the defenses and positions of Trix? Since, in fact, he's got barely any territory left, or at least territory that's connected. Kampfkraft center up. Another Grenadier squad on the way. Looks like Trix is feeling quite confident that he won't be seeing any armor right away, and that's probably again due to the BARs on InYoFace, and of course the heavy losses, of course, meaning there's a lot of manpower that goes into that rather than, say, vehicles. MP40 Volksgunners advancing up. MG42 slowly creeps forward. Second squad of Grenadiers ready. Veterans on the way for them. Although, of course, he could also try and perhaps go straight for the Sturm Armory and get some armoured cars, which could also be a great way of dealing with all of these riflemen. And would certainly leave InYoFace in a lot of trouble because, again, he's currently got pretty much nothing that can really stop an armoured car. Now seeing a nice infantry going on. Grenadiers caught right here by the high munitions point. MG42 sending up to stop what part of the assault? Oh dear, this could actually end up very tricky. This is a nice one. Hitting so large areas that he can't quite cover it all. Push, InYoFace, push. And there we go. Just able to get beyond the arc of fire. Excellently handled, but sadly doesn't actually push in before it's too late and the MG's already moving. Half-track moving in to try and stop here. No sticky bombs, I think, from InYoFace. Otherwise, he would definitely lock one of that. And in short, the half-track would have difficulty moving. Going for the fuel, going for the munitions instead of perhaps going for the cut-off first. I think that perhaps is a slight mistake there. Rather than pushing in, Grenadiers holding up by the half-track, reinforcing, although suffering. Half-track doing what it can to support its Grenadier support. The Grenadiers it's supporting. Riflemen are getting suppressed. Nicely done right there. And 5 kills for the half-track. Ever wondrous. Troops reinforcing. And Blitzkrieg has been chosen for Trix. In fact, he could throw in a Stu-42, which would definitely throw a spanner in the works of InYoFace. Although he does have a motor pool, a Stu-42 would be an absolute disaster at this stage of the fight for him. Because again, he's got pretty much nothing that can really stop it except some mines here and there. That won't necessarily work. And there we go, the Sturmhaubitze are rolling out. Grenadiers and MGs moving in, flamethrower engineers moving in from the north. Ooh, MG crew's getting toasted. Rifleman could perhaps pop into this hill building and fire down upon the troops here. That would be, quite frankly, exciting. And would definitely cause a problem for the MG42, but sadly he's a bit too slow again. Oh, Pioneer squad got good on. And the Grenadiers continue advancing. Riflemen still not taking a position in the house. So again, fire down upon the MG42. If In Your Face was to do that, I think that could actually clear out the MG42 crew. Stu 42 moving in. Ooh, getting hit in the flank though. And again, not popping in. The Rifleman there. Come on, get them into the house. And again, he actually allows the MG to escape. That case, that I think is a less than good move. Oh, mine goes off. Dash. Oh my goodness, 2 mines go off and destroys the armored car. Half track barely stands. In Your Face definitely took a few nasty blows right there. Reinforcing quickly. No veterancy for the armor as of yet, nor the vehicles. Half track definitely going to need a repair session. The In Your Face needs to move swiftly. There we go, going for the cut-off button. That's a bit late. Oh, mine goes off, damaging the engine of the Sturmhaubitze with 105mm howitzer. Part of a longer line of armor basically meant to sort of blow out infantry positions that are sort of more dug in than most things can handle. Later versions will be stuff like the Sturm Panzer IV and the Sturm Mercer or Sturm Tiger. MG42 opens up again. Rifleman not having a lot of luck there. There were also some earlier variations, like one based on Panzer III with some Infantry Geschütz. And some Grenadiers actually made it pretty far there. At the same time, of course, giving Trix a good idea what's going to come for him. That's an anti-tank, and of course he's also going to ensure that his Stu-42 doesn't advance too far. Come on. Oh dear, no one ever listens to me. Anyways, anti-tanker needs to stop moving, needs to get off some good shots, and there we go. Nice hit on the Sturm. Oh, beats the Stu-42. Half-track nearby as well. MG stops the engineers from advancing. If he has armor-piercing rounds, I would certainly suggest he uses them. Oh dear, the assault gun gets away, and flamethrower pioneers are moving in. There's nothing to support it. The engineers were stopped. The west is largely German now, in the hands of the 2nd Panzer Division. But a nice comeback right there from the Wehrmacht, considering what he suffered initially. Ooh, the Pioneers here are definitely not doing too well either. And Veteran 2 for the Infantry. Ooh, Pioneers made it out of there. Veteran 2 Volks Grenadiers don't get the biggest bonuses. They can basically just see a bit farther, and they gain a slight damage resistance. Victory point being secured. Troops getting suppressed.
Losing a sector. Pass the word back.
And a bit of quiet there. Barbed wire going down nice there to, of course, ensure any sort of direct charges or anything. Nice again to see some barbed wire usage. Points being secured there. Wehrmacht taking a bit slow. Gathering strength before the next advance. In Your Face doing the same. Getting more from the motor pool. Of course, you could also consider perhaps going straight for a tank depot. I mean, getting a Sherman out, or for that matter, a tank destroyer can actually cause a problem for Trix, because again, he's not got a lot of things to actually stop armor. In fact, his Stu-42 would be pretty vulnerable, so would his half-track, and he would only have one Panzerich to really sort of put a dent in it. Well, that would be a pretty large rocket-inflicted dent. Taking up positions there with the engineers. Interesting. Advancing here, but too many Grenadiers and Volks Grenadiers, and of course the MG42 providing support. I'm getting another Greyhound apparently, or is that just me missing something?
Yes, sir.
So advance going up here. Pushing in there. Ooh, could try and get the MG bunker. Doesn't look like he still has not got any sticky bombs for his riflemen. I think that's a bit of a shame, and that fact completely stops the assault thanks to one half-track. Definitely not what you expect someone like to do. And there we go, the MG42 ensuring the rifleman cut advantage thanks to barbed wire. In Your Face's assault again. I had a bit of trouble there. Greyhound though on the flank, crushing barbed wire, ruining all the hard work of the Volksgrenadiers, fighting away. And again, not really a lot to stop it except the Grenadiers, who are apparently more concerned with the munitions point. Let's return to In-Your-Face. Another anti-tank gun up. This could be used to knock out the bunker right there. That could work. Stu 42 taking a few nasty hits right there from the other anti-tank gun. Otherwise, we are seeing some reinforcement going on there. No medic station. I think that could perhaps have benefited, you know, In-Your-Face a bit. Gotten him more riflemen, thus giving him a larger force. Fulton's here getting burned alive, and there we go. He could easily cut the wire there, and then, of course, overwhelm this force or this position. MG bunker getting blasted with anti-tank gun rounds. Slowly clearing out that crowd nest. Helmut wondering why he can't leave. 2 Grenadiers, Veterancy 2 versus 1 squad rep 5, although Veterancy 1 does make them a bit nastier due to, you know, increasing the accuracy of their weapons. But the Grenadiers seem to survive this, and there we go, the MG42 is on the spot. And looks like a Pioneer squad went down right there. Or something else did. Not sure. And looks like something more went down. There we go, the MG bunker and the engineer squad getting assaulted by flamethrowers. Howitzer blasts away. As the Stu-42 was mounted with a 105mm howitzer. At its gun, although of course it couldn't quite fire as far, but still could do alright. I think actually if put at a certain angle it could still sort of, you know, be used as artillery, although that was a bit of much of a rarer occurrence. Second anti-tank moving up. Oh, nice hit! The Stu-42 just managed to shoot bit far enough to actually land behind the gun shield, clearing out 2 gunners, killing the rest with, I don't know, heart attack.
We're ready.
He'd eaten too many fatty foods and not exercised enough. Another Grenadier squad out. Trix25 Grenadiers. He's not taking up. In fact, he's getting more veterancy for them. I mean, this would be a great opportunity for In-Your-Face either to get a weapon support and against some snipers up to deal with that, or, you know, an armored depot, a tank depot, and then of course some Shermans and a tank destroyer. I really think that could cause a huge headache for Trix, but no, instead he's getting a supplied upgrade, which is not necessarily a bad idea. And clearly now we are seeing In-Your-Face quickly focusing on the west to push through there. He's not going to bother with the east right away. Armored car moves in. Fulton's getting pushed back. And there we go, rifle stopped. Maybe we could see in full squad lost. Yes, indeed, the Stu-42 gets the kill.
Composition B is in. Troops can now make sticky bombs.
Moving forwards, both anti-tank guns, the flank is exposed, and there we go, one Grenadier squad takes the chance, moves in. And gets a nice hit. We are seeing infantry dodging up for In-Your-Face, by the way. Rifle securing the victory point right there. 2 hits from the anti-tank. It's almost down to half health for the Stu. In fact, down to. Desperate scrambling about by the Germans to create a solid defensive line to stop the American advance. The Stu-42 keeps unleashing shell after shell, killing yank after yank. The MG42 now manned by Pioneer stops the advance finally. Although, oh, they actually get cleared out. Anti-tank guns have a lot of time actually dealing with the Stu-42. And we actually see a huge problem right there, arriving full In-Your-Face as his anti-tank guns are suddenly exposed. As Grenadiers and Fulton's advance in, one crew down. Half-Tech, in fact, also pushed in, and the Stu-42 is clearly not out of the fight either. He could call in some artillery to sort of perhaps, you know, stop the advance, but one anti-tank gun is in fact gone. Oh dear. And the Germans advancing in the east as well. This is not looking too good for In-Your-Face. Securing the fuel right there. Fulton's and Grenadiers advancing. Quickly following up on the American retreat. The 3rd Infantry in certainly a bit of a dire state with 1 rifleman squad down and 2 anti-tank guns lost. This is a huge blow. And largely gutting In-Your-Face, but not putting out of the fight. In fact, he's getting more anti-tank guns, but again, I think there might have been some chances here that In-Your-Face earlier could have taken, but sadly did not push upon, you know, either like an earlier motor pool or getting even a tank depot. Or for that matter, just blowing up more stuff inside the base of Trix25. Second Panzer Division, they're holding on. Clearly, they're not receiving any of its panzers, just an assault howitzer. I mean, it did, have its full complement of panzers. Trouble was to actually pretty quickly on into the fight in Normandy that it actually had its Panther battalion taken away from it, which was then sent over to fight in the British sector. And that was not uncommon for the Germans, to take some of the bigger assets and attach them to other units. Of course, Cilia was then later on in the fighting for Normandy, where it still hadn't received its Panther battalion back, that it actually got the Panther battalion from the 116th Panzer Division, if I'm not mistaken. So a bit of fun things there. But certainly the fighting continues, rather than getting stopped there, but another one moves up the flank. The Greyhound moves in behind. Nicely done. No 50 caliber though on the armored car. MG squad manages to make it out of there. Grenadiers arriving with lots of Pantrix. Oh, and an LMG. That's fun to see, and certainly a bit rarer. Of course, one thing to remember, of course, is the LMG does not fire while standing still. Oh, well, while moving, I mean. And there we go. Moves again. For some reason, shooting at the armored car, not the rifleman. That's seems to be a bit of an odd thing. There we go, a bit of fire. So far, not a lot luck, partly because, moving so much, the MG does not get to fire. And also in a pretty bad shape. Down to 2 men with barely any health. Stu 42, in fact, could go down. Grenade, and oh, LMG dropped! LMG dropped! Oh dear. That would be a pretty bad thing for the Americans to get. And by bad, I do mean bad, but there we go. The Grenadiers managed to swiftly save the day. Stu 42, though, gets knocked out. Small victory for In Your Face and the Americans right there. Lots of manpower being floated. I suspect he might be hoping for something like, say, Rangers. Half track rolling in. And then we go, slowly pushing forwards. Strong army up, though that might save the day for him. Ever slightly. There we go, machine gun fire again from the Grenadiers. And the Grenadiers just keep on killing. Now again, remember, the LMG 42 does not fire on the move. So of course, the more you move about it, the less you get out of it. So that is vital to remember. In Your Face, though, making some progress, but again, he's having a bit of a hard time sort of really breaking through. He might have slowed down his pace a bit too much for the Germans to sort of really catch up. And there we go, Rangers on the way, anti-tank on the way. Greyhound moving in, engineers, riflemen, all charging in. Stop the Grenadiers, stop them! Sadly again, Trix seems to have a bit of a hard time understanding how LMGs work, which is definitely not to his advantage. I mean, if you want to use them, you have to know again that they do not fire on the move. And grenades going up for In Your Face. Again, I think he should have gotten some sticky bombs, and that's much earlier. And there we go, Rangers moving in, trying to get that half track. And there we go, submachine guns on the Rangers, just tearing through those Grenadiers. Grenadiers holding up here, and there's another advance from the Americans going in. Grenades getting locked. Will there be grenades from the Americans? In return. And oh, very close to that half track going down. Stu 42 number 2 rolls in. Half track down. Kaputt. Nicht mehr. Anti-tank advances, but they have to be careful. Low on health, low on everything. Points being secured there. In Your Face making some progress now. Just good. Still nothing though from the Sturm Armory. And some Grenadiers quickly catching on fire. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The Stu 42 though keeps blasting a small route. The anti-tank gun fires in response. And the Rangers do what they can, but they're themselves low on health. One good hit from the Stu 42 could definitely gut them. Trix so far holding the line. Of course, if he breaks here, that could easily give In Your Face a huge advantage. And this side is in fact pretty lightly guarded. I mean, it would be actually pretty easy for In Your Face to just shift one armor car here, clear out the MG, and perhaps even lay down some Greyhound mines. I think he'll pretty much secure the west one. In fact, not forced to go in here, which could be to a bit against his advantage. Mines going down there again. Lovely still to see mining this far into the game. Then return to Trix. You can actually call in the Tiger if he so decides. And he has got 4 Grenadier squads. And Needleworth on the way. Not bothering with the Tiger so far. Medic station going up. That's about time, but I think that's a bit too exposed. Perhaps he would have been a bit better. Slightly more safe there.
Enemy is down to 100 points.
Troops getting shot a bit. Bit quiet. Now some of the Germans moving in again. With more LMGs in hand.
Grenadiers, listen up.
Although, of course, be aware that equipping 2 weapons at the same time on a Grenadier squad, of course, will give them a higher chance of actually dropping any of them. Americans charging in. Rather bold move. Grenade going off on the MG, and of course at the same time the LMGs of the Grenadiers just tear through the riflemen. Anti-tank and too far ahead, cleared out. No grenades on the Grenadiers, no artillery. Veterancy 2 for the riflemen, that's some progress. Squad down. No idea what these riflemen are doing here instead of pushing into the fight. And out. Come on, work, damn you. And an LMG left behind, and there we go, securing the LMG. That's nice. And of course, Veterans 2. No, again, do not move, do not move. And again, flaps finally shut up. But again, the LMG does not function. And there we go, just tearing through the Volksgrenadiers. Despite Veterans 3 giving them a health bonus. Again, stand still, stand still. And of course, no riflemen do gain some accuracy bonuses, which do also apply to the LMG stuff afterwards. And again, if they gain Veterans 3, they also gain a damage bonus for that LMG. So again, a lot of stuff there to remember. Just retreat, you know, with Zug. Get back and get that squad reinforced so you do not end up losing that LMG. No, do not send them forwards! There we go, retreating. 1 Ranger heroically secures the rest, but things are definitely ticking down for In Your Face. And that Grenadier also needs to get the devil out of there. MK-50, and there we go, another LMG equipped. Certainly fun to see so many in a game. Stu 42 could get sticky bomb. No! Mine got cooked off, blowing it up. That's quite impressive. Troops reinforcing, certainly definitely a lot of need of reinforcement. Of course, there's still an enabler over though. Quickly advancing. Outflanking the MG-42. No, he's standing up. Don't do. Other riflemen and such reinforcing. They need to quickly get moving. Grenade on the MG and almost down. Nice force moving in from Trix and the 2nd Panzer Division. Another squad of Rangers arriving for In Your Face. MG moving up here to support the Grenadiers and protect that other victory point. Things are definitely draining down though for In Your Face, while Trix is holding on much better. In particular now that he's getting all those LMGs. And certainly the Panzer Grenadiers of an were generally better equipped than Grenadiers when it came to MGs. In fact, every squad had 2 MGs, rather where the Grenadier Divisions only had 1. Grenade goes up left and right. Rather nasty things. Nebelwerfer opening up there, nice. Will the LMG still be able to stop the Rangers and their anger? No, riflemen moving in. Again, stop, stop, stop. Let the LMGs fire. And there we go. Close range at the Volksgrenadiers. And the Pioneers just getting torn through. And there we go. In fact, down the rifle, though, taking some nasty losses. Need to retreat. They're in the fire. They're getting hit by lots of nasty things. No, don't go for the victory point. What are you doing in your face? You're getting too desperate. And he dropped the BAR and an LMG. Oh, what a wash. LMG gunner is fighting here, but the Rangers do manage to kill them. Well, force them off, including the MG42, but another Stu-42 arrives. Apparently not bothering with a Tiger. And Stu-42 advancing. A few bazooka hits there on the repair bunker. Stu-42 advances forward, and there we go. Ooh, not so good hit on Rangers, still killing someone. The rest of the force advances up here. And artillery going in against the Grenadiers. Except it's not really hitting them. At all. And in your face is definitely rather low on everything. Grenadier squad down. So that was a small victory right there. But again, he doesn't really have the forces to keep up with this in particular. Again, after he lost that squad right here. That was a huge blow. The rather interesting seems like Trix is not bothering to pick any of these things up. I mean, he has some false guns which would definitely benefit with some extra weapons. But no, quickly shifting up here. In fact, moving in both MGs to cover this point. Nebelwerfer's firing. Troops moving up, reinforcing. 21 kills on these false grenadiers. Nebelwerfers don't really hitting anything. Bit of a whiff there. Going for the victory point again, quickly. Well, Trix is definitely holding up much better.
Our forward supply lines are broken.
Still no Tiger called in. That's definitely rarer. But he actually just bothers with the Stu-42 instead of just waiting a bit longer for a Tiger. Flamethrower charging in again, right into that. I think In Your Face is getting a bit too desperate, and he's not even bothering picking up any of these weapons. Grenade on the false grenadiers, and nice retreat. 3 down. And he is doing what they can. Lots of machine guns firing at the riflemen. No In Your Face. Don't bother taking points. You need to keep pushing. I mean, he does seem to have a bit of a slightly unfortunate habit of just stopping now to take points instead of, you know, attacking when there are enemies nearby. This does strike me as a bit peculiar. The advance continues. Grenadiers enough. Well, basically a few grenadiers left. There we go, suppressed. Will anyone be picking up these weapons right here? You know, the BAR and such. Rangers could benefit. I mean, these veteran C3 riflemen would hugely benefit. I mean, if those veteran C3 riflemen were to secure that LMG and the BAR right there, they would be pretty much able to stop any infantry sent against them. Stu-42 though rolls in. Nebelwerfer fires up. Again, a rather desperate In Your Face. Taking some nasty losses. There we go. The victory point secured. Bazookas can't fire back at the Stu. That seems. Oh wait, there we go. Other Rangers moving in to hit the flank. And that. Oh, nice hit. Almost knocking it out. Can they get it off? Main gun destroyed. Rifleman holding up there. And there we go, the advance once more occurs. Artillery going in again to protect their victory point. And he's not moving. Oh, he could be losing an entire grenadier squad. No, they managed to get out there, but another LMG's dropped. Again, if those riflemen were to secure that large amount of LMGs, that again could be a very painful experience for Trix and his grenadiers. Greyhound rolling in. That looks to be an off-map combat group, but not look what it looks to be he actually wanted. Rifleman, come on, secure. Grab them. Or at least the rifleman here secure something of all those LMGs. I mean, that again could really make it much more difficult for Trix to advance. Troops there getting suppressed. Anti-tank moving up to try and clear with that anti-assault gun. Rather risky business. Grenadiers moving up versus the riflemen. 242 managed to escape. And the Grenadiers are suffering greatly to the veterans infantry riflemen. I mean, they do gain some huge bonuses as they level up. I mean, we're talking again, damage bonus of veterans 50%. Otherwise, I mean, huge accuracy bonus. I mean, they generally become very lethal. House is on fire, might even collapse. Rangers and riflemen not doing 12. Grenade on the MG. Clearing it out. Still no LMG. Come on, in your face. You could win. And we are seeing an assault. Oh, keyboard got stuck. A bit unfortunate. Quickly into the house. Anti-tank gun moving up. Still no LMG. Anti-tank gun gone. There we go. The Rangers are on the run. My apologies for all the technical difficulties. Still no LMGs. And there we go. The MG from the Grenadiers clears out the 30 caliber. Grenade from the Grenadiers. Armored car moving in. Collapsing the building and killing all the Falcons inside. That was... Oh, armored car down. Definitely a lot of shifting up there. MG-42 recruit. Stu-42 rolls in. And I mean, in your face. And the 3rd Infantry Division is pretty much shattered. And broken. And these Grenadiers are just standing there and could have secured an LMG again, at least before they ran, but no. And another MG-42 down. Very desperate fight. He's hoping for another off-map coming room. Let's just speed this up a bit before Flaps decide it's time to have some more fun. More need for anti-tank gun and... Still no anti-tank destroyer. I mean, he's actually not quite having any luck with the off-map combat group. More riflemen though and an anti-tank gun, but will it be enough? Anti-tank gun crew gone. Artillery called in right there, hoping to stop this. Oh, it missed, otherwise it could, you know, save the day. Down to 1 Grenadier though as to retreat. Craters appearing. Anti-tank rolling up riflemen. False guys on the run. Still LMG's not picked up. No, well, which I think is a bit of a shame. Stu almost down. Just barreling forwards, madly dashing in. Another Stu-42 gets called in. He doesn't bother with Tigers. And there we go, the Stu-42's down. MG getting recruited again by a Grenadier squad. He's absolutely keen on holding at. Then he's advancing up here. Will they be dealt with? Down to 2 men. Another Stu-42 rolls in. That's awfully close, but the neighborhood sings again. And of course this is a nice target provided by In Your Face, which could definitely lose the anti-tank gun and send several troops scurrying away as his point gets secured. My apologies. Armored car. Ooh, that armored car could go down any second now. A few riflemen desperately send in. Points ticking down. Armored car down. Another squad down. And if only that armored car had been sent over here again, he could secure this easily. Again, that does not seem to happen. Veterans C3 riflemen sent in a desperate last-ditch attempt. And the riflemen are just getting torn apart. And well, let's just speed this up a bit. And there we go. Game over. GG. A loss to the 3rd Infantry despite their best attempts. I think the problem rather came down to a lot of missed opportunities by In Your Face, thus allowing Trix to sort of really catch up and do some damage, and sadly In Your Face on the other hand wasn't really able to catch up and recover from those blows. I mean, what sort of opportunity talking after he blowed up there? He could have gone in and done more damage, which I think really would have shaken up Trix mentally. I mean, that's sort of one of the more initial ones I'd comment on, but also the fact that afterwards he went for BARs. I think he should have gone for a much earlier motor pool and caused a lot of havoc there, because again, the lack of a Wehrmacht could of course force him to reinforce in a new, and thus, spend resources in delaying him and in taking up. That was important right there. Secondly, when he then went for the BARs, he should perhaps then gone for a tank depot next, but that didn't happen either. So again, he sort of sloped things much too down instead of going for some sort of advantage, which really would have been difficult for Trix to overcome. Secondly, as the game went on, I mean, he slowly became more and more desperate, making more and more mistakes, sending in troops to get killed. In particular, that rifleman squad there with the MG first, that was a bit of a waste. Also, medic station here would have benefited him a bit more. And I also think the armoured cars would have done more over here than here. And then finally, again, he didn't bother securing any of those MGs. Again, had he had a rifleman veterancy free squad with it, I think he could have won that game pretty much easily. Of course, the Wehrmacht commander certainly made his own mistakes. I don't think he should have poured so much veterancy into his infantry right away. He should have been to the Sturmarmy a bit faster and gotten an armoured car. I don't think he should have relied so much on the Stu-42s either. Just me, of course. Otherwise, I also think he would have benefited greatly from a medic bunker. So, there you go. Do hope you enjoyed this match. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends. And if you didn't, well, why not send a replay? This is Bill Dane saying cheers.